Ladies and gentlemen, Primetime CP23 here with another Diablo 3 build. Today we're going to be taking a look at the speed farming build I've been doing, that I've been using. This build is the LeapQuake Barb based on the Might of the Earth set. This build is a lot more versatile than I really expected it to be. I thought it would mostly be a high GR pushing build, but it's actually really fun as just a speed farming build. So if you want to run this build as a high GR pushing build, basically what you do is you put these bracers of destruction on that increase your seismic slam damage by almost 400%. And then you use Girdle of Giants. Seismic slam increases earthquake damage by up to 100% for 3 seconds. And then you actually use this Ignore Pain, which I had been using Ignore Pain, Contempt for Weakness. Generally, I see people using the Ignorance is Bliss rune for Ignore Pain, while Ignore Pain is active, gain life for spending Fury. I prefer Ignore Pain, Contempt for Weakness, because it gives you an instant heal rather than having to spend Fury to gain the heal. And it just it functions as basically a second health potion. So that's what I like to run. But I've just recently decided to swap it out for Wrath of the Berserker Insanity, just to give us that extra damage, along with all the other lovely benefits that Wrath of the Berserker comes with. So, getting right into it, for the actual speed farming variant, we will only be wearing 5 pieces of the Might of the Earth set. The 6th piece, which is the boots, I would wear for the GR pushing build of this, but because this is just for speed, what I like to do is, instead of having the loot socks cubed, I like to actually wear them. And so the way that we achieve that is by using the Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube. And that frees up another spot, whether you want to use it for something like Nemesis Bracers, or something I've messed around with quite a bit is using Chillank's Chain. Words are fun. Which just gives you increased movement speed every time you use Warcry. But another pretty recent change is going with Leoric's Crown instead of that belt, because that gives us basically an extra 10% cooldown reduction. We were right at about 30%. You'll see cooldown reduction right here. If we click Nemesis Bracers, see it drops down to 30.4%. So it's basically an extra 10% cooldown reduction, because the effect of any gem socketed into my helm is increased by 100%. And in this case we have a Flawless Royal Diamond, which will reduce cooldown by 12.5%. So that's that. Part of what makes this a good speed farming build is Ingeom, which allows us to basically leap infinitely as long as we are finding the elite packs, which you shouldn't have any problem doing. And that'll do it for Kanai's cube. Like I said, we were using the 5-piece set. Just kind of giving you a look here at what we're running. And then the Lutzox. And Blade of the Tribes is key to this build. It's probably the most important thing after having the 6-piece set bonus. Using Girdle of Giants to make that Seismic Slam buff our Earthquake damage, which really helps us for when our Leap is not active. We're using a Hellfire Amulet with the Nerves of Steel passive, Restraint and Focus with Bane of the Trapped, Gogok of Swiftness, and Esoteric Alteration. As you can see, my gems are not terribly high ranked. 55 on Esoteric and Gogok, and only 40 on Bane of the Trapped. So these are not terribly high ranked gems. Also, you'll see that the 3 diamonds in our chest armor are not even Flawless Royals. So that kind of tells you how much flexibility there is with this build. This build, I'm sure, could go much higher, but what I like to do is I like to keep this build at right around the T10 range, just because it allows us to basically instant kill everything. So as you can see, I've already killed an elite pack. And now we just leap. And kill everything. And if at any time our... Whoa, I'm slowed. If at any time our leap is not active, instead of just standing there like you kind of have to do with the Boulder Toss variant, you instead use Seismic Slam, which deals a pretty decent amount of damage. And of course, every time we hit Threatening Shout, we activate a Earthquake and an Avalanche. And now we pretty much just leap infinitely. See what I mean about the infinite leaps? I just realized I forgot to go over our actual skills, so as soon as we finish this rift, I will kind of run you all through that real quick. One thing I did want to do while we have a minute here is I wanted to make sure and thank everyone for watching videos and for all the support that you've been giving me. My last 2 videos actually had over 20 views apiece, which is really good. I think this is the first time that I've had that many views on consecutive videos on this channel anyway. So I really appreciate that continued support. Hopefully the video that I posted yesterday and this video will both do well. The video I posted yesterday, of course, was our new home tour, duplex tour, whatever you want to call it, house tour. And we were both very excited about that. The first house tour that I posted on my channel is actually my most viewed video, with over 70 views, I believe. So that is absolutely excellent. The other thing that you will notice about this build is that you don't even have to run around and collect the orbs, because you're doing so much damage and you're doing that damage to such a wide area that you're just killing enough stuff that you don't even have to stop. It actually slows you down to stop, in my experience. Now, of course, other people might get kind of different results here, but that's just been my experience, is that it kind of slows you down if you wait, or if you try and stop to collect those. If you stop to try and collect the orbs. See, areas like this are a lot less fun to play this build because there's these stupid doors. And that actually makes it so that you can't just infinitely leap over walls and really go as fast as this build can really go. As you can see, this is a GR50, which I realize is not super high, but it's high enough to level your lower level gems, and if you need blood shards and stuff for a second character or whatever, I mean, this build will definitely accomplish that for you. And as you can also see, I just reached Paragon 515. So, I mean, you don't have to have a terribly high Paragon level to be able to make this build work. Yeah, see, with Geom, we can basically just insta-leap. And that's it for that Rift Guardian. Give me just a second here. Level up these gems just a little bit. And see that right there? We just got... we just went through an empowered rank 50. An empowered rank 50 Greater Rift, which is equivalent to T10, Torment 10, without dying. In how long did it take us? 6 minutes 22 seconds. So that's actually a little slower than what I had been running. But like I said, I did also just change around that passive. I just changed around the Wrath of the Berserker for Ignore Pain, so things are a little different. Give you a brief look at my Paragon levels here. That's that, and here are my skills. Threatening Shout Falter to do increased damage. Seismic Slam. I like the Permafrost rune because it chills enemies, and that allows a little more leeway for, you know, not dying. I like the Molten Fury rune because it's just a crapload of damage. And Leap, you get... I'm using the Call of Ariat rune because it does group your enemies together a little bit. And we also gain the Iron Impact rune thanks to our 6-piece set, which increases our armor after we land. And I use Warcry with Impunity for the extra resistance. And like I said, Wrath of the Berserker, Insanity. For passives, we have the Near-Death passive, or Near-Death Experience? No. I think that's the monk one. We're using Nerves of Steel, which is a just cheat death passive with our Hellfire Amulet. And then we've got the Ruthless skill passive to deal extra damage to enemies that are on low health. It's really helpful for Rift Guardians and stuff like that. Earth and Might just increases our Fury, which just means that we can always cast a lot of Seismic Slams. And then Rampage just gives us increased strength every time we kill or assist in killing an enemy. And because I get that 5th free passive, I decided to go with Relentless, because at the end of a life, if I'm starting to take too much damage, then this allows me to kind of catch back up a little bit. So there are other alternatives. I mean, this is fairly defensive for me calling it a speed build, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem. It just means that I always get that extra chance to upgrade my legendary gems, which is very important. So ladies and gentlemen, I think that will do it for today's video. Excuse me. Just had dinner and I'm really full. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that will call it a day. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the continued support. Make sure to share this channel with your friends. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Primetime CP23, and I'm out.